Hi, my name is Mavis Ureke. I'm a behavioral science and performance specialist. Today, I want to talk to you about back to school emotions. So today, this morning, I took my two boys to school, and like many other parents, we were in the school just trying to settle our children to make sure they're safe. And I think as I, was reflecting and observing behavior, I'm a behavioral scientist. I want to study behavior. I want to see why people are doing what they're doing or why they're not doing what they're supposed to do. And I just want to understand behavior. I want to understand why we do what we do as humans. And so I'm looking at parents, I'm looking at the kids, and I also had the privilege of spending Monday with educators in Ellensport High School. And so we were talking also about the opening of school. So we're preparing the educators and, cushioning them at an emotional level to boost them for motivation, but also to sort of build resilience that they need throughout the term. So just as I was reflecting and thinking that, as the school term starts, we have anxiety. Okay, our children are going to be safe. So much happened, in the school last year, and so we're thinking about this, the anxiety that our kids going to be safe. We also have the excitement. So for me, my little one started grade 1 today, so I also had the excitement. So I have the anxiety and the excitement at the same time. But for some parents as well, there's pressure. Because, you've got the school fees, you've got the stationery, you've got uniform. So for some parents, there's that financial pressure, there's that financial stress they're experiencing in this time of the year as we start schools. So how do we manage those emotions? And how do we even continue to monitor emotions, not only in ourselves, but in our children? Our children's success is actually determined by how well they can manage their own emotions. One of the educators in the seminar that I shared on Monday asked me to say, if we make sure that our learners, we help them to regulate emotions, but we also develop emotional abilities, does this guarantee success? And my answer was, depending on how you measure success. If we're talking about academic success, for example, research has actually shown that learners who are able to manage their own emotions, learners who are able to manage their anxiety during exams, perform better than learners who cannot manage their own anxiety. So there we are. Emotions actually influence learner performance. But also on the other hand, when you think about education, we're really not just developing, children to just have academic success. We are developing them to be successful adults in whatever roles they play, whether it is to be a parent, it is to be a good friend, it is to be a good father, a good mother, and a good employee with ethics and integrity. So emotions really matter, not just for academic success, but to when we are building and developing a well-rounded adult, they need to understand their own emotions. That's why emotions are pivotal. So the thing we have to do as parents is throughout the term is to monitor emotional experiences for our own children so that we can actually, be able to support them. Things like bullying happen in the school. And I always say, bullies use emotions. It's there too. So if you want to disarm bullies, you just make sure that you understand the tactic and the tool that they use, which is the fear. And fear is an emotion. So if you disarm them of the fear that they use, if you're not afraid of the fear that they're instilling on you, you'll be fine. So we need to really equip and cushion our own children to have emotional literacy, but also to have the emotional fitness to be able to withstand emotional challenges, which are the many challenges that they face, despite the fact that they have to learn. Learning is an emotional ability. So if they can have the emotional fitness, they'll be able to learn and be able to perform better in the classroom. Here is the one challenge that I've noticed. So recently I have been, interacted with parents who had children that were acting up. And one of the things that actually kind of, made me reflect, but also wonder, but also worry, is that most of the parents were not schooled around emotions. So when their kids act out and they say, you don't understand me, we don't know what to do because we couldn't act out during the time that we grew up. You either had to take whatever you are taught or told, or you would receive a high day. So The challenge we have is, how do we handle emotions in our children without punishing them for feeling? How do we actually become a holding space for them so that they can experience their own emotions without us getting frustrated? Because that's what ends up happening. Most parents get upset by what the emotional experiences of their children are because they don't know how to handle them. So as a parent also, one of the things that I am learning to do is to kind of learn how to manage my children's emotions, but also have conversations with my children so that there is that emotional language and emotional literacy, so we can talk about emotions. So emotions matter. Back to school, it's not just the books and the stationery, it is also the emotional experience throughout the term that will determine the success of your children. And us as parents, educators, but also even them children, give them that cushion and teach them emotional fitness so that they can be able to be there for themselves while we also are trying to be there for themselves. Now, key thing for us as parents, we have to learn how to manage emotions, but we also have to learn how to parent using emotional intelligence. How do we use emotions in ourselves and in our children to influence them to perform better and become well-rounded adults, not just successful academics or have good grades, but also be good human beings. Thank you for listening, and all the best with 2020. Bye.